Yeah, yeah. Yeah, would have been better at 9:20, but here we are. Yeah. Oh man, this mic is too. I'm in trouble. Sorry. Nobody needs to get such an unenthusiastic reply. Unless you did.
It's okay, I'm used to it.
Yeah.
You can get a yikes.
And how much do I in here? What kind of circus is this morning? Yeah. This morning, it looks like there was a double stabbing in the parking lot.
I was wondering about that. I saw that there was.
I don't know if that hurts or helps the city's position. He addresses this maybe. Corner of Grant. Two, 3, 2, 9.
Out of the three,
That's no longer a Walgreens, actually.
yeah, this is true.
I'm coming over. I'm coming over for dinner tonight. Is that all right?
Okay. I won't be there.
You're not going to be there tonight?
Well, there'll be a seat for you then.
That's it. That's right. It's an open seat for me.
Your dad said dinner isn't as good when you're not there, so.
He did say that.
Varsity pizza on Fridays is a standby. Maybe she will be.
Oh, that's what I saw. Yeah. Yeah. See you later, Meg.
Yeah. These guys did stamp no hearing on their grievance, I want to say. But you were in touch with them, right? Like,
Sent them the information.
in one direction at least, yeah.
Basically, I just wanted to. it's starting to settle in now.
Grateful for a momentary winter comeback after a few without. In fact,
You ski?
yeah, hoping to get out of here after 3 or 3:30 and get down there tonight too. Oh yeah, I got a reason. It's not just like relishing other people's misery.
Although that's a bonus.
I mean, you know.
Yeah,
A little break.
I don't do anything in the winter, so other than clear it and all that baloney.
Yeah, I used to enjoy that more than I do now. I've been parking on the street for 4 weeks. I can't even with the driveway.
Oh, wow. You want me to send a plow person over?
I was coming in today, really noticing which plow guys do the right thing and which plow guys just like drag it out, and put it in the street.
Oh, yeah. No, my guy pushes everything in the back. We're losing parking spaces.
Yep.
But yeah, I know that's the law.
I'm out for the Korean church on East 23. We're out there parking lot, block the whole inbound lane. But plenty of space back there.
Really?
Well, that's an easy one if you know who it is.
I know a guy who's.
Oh, yeah. No, they'll ticket him. He's a commercial guy, right? Yeah, absolutely. No question.
Listen,
Well, yes, that's
the last few days.
I understand. That's my back area is.
Watch out of it. They always do it the last Sunday of February.
Yeah, and I don't dispute that. The potential.
No, Tip Hill's got a whole, they've got to line it all up from St. Patrick's
Everything's
Day,
gotta-
then the parade, then the run. They got to have green beer delivery first, so they pushed everything back from St. Patrick's. That's how they decide on that day. The weather's irrelevant. You can drink green beer when it's snowing, apparently. St. Patrick's Day is a Monday,
Right.
so the week before that, Saturday, 15th, is the parade. 8th is the run. So they could have done it, they could do it next weekend. I think they would.
Figured, why wait? Sit around. Nobody else is here.
Yep, no problem.
Yeah.
That
You can buy bricks right now, they're trying to sell memorial bricks.
for the last weekend in February, so they did postpone it 1 week. And a lot of people.
Or they might pass Arboretum, right?
Yeah, right at the entrance to it, around the corner, Avery and Ford.
The next week, I'm sure it was absolutely. But I don't necessarily think
saying they postponed it, and the next week was gorgeous,
Yes.
but people still complain because it threw off the schedule, which I get.
Yeah. I think that that's the same day as September 9th.
Well, certainly,
Or same weekend.
they don't want to do those together, of course.
No, I think that they're on the same. I think that,
Well,
September 9th.
same weekend as well.
Right here, Sunday.
No,
Oh, it is. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Might even be 2 weeks. 2 weeks, yeah. I think it's March 8th is the run.
Okay.
The 15th
I
is the
said that
break.
like I'm gonna be there, but.
I signed up.
I know from.
I don't run. My wife and I might walk. Might not.
I think we got it.
Signed up really.
Yeah.
These are, Good morning, everyone. This is the Syracuse City Board of Assessment Review. Today is Friday, February 21st. It's about 9:20 a.m. Our apologies for the late start. Just to remind everybody, these meetings are recorded and videotaped live on YouTube. If you want the channel address, Michelle has it, and you can also go back and view the meeting as well. So with that, let's take a roll call. My name is Joe Saya.
Straub.
Carl Masterpaul?
All right.
Okay, thank you very much. And so we're going to start off with yourself, if you want to come on up. Have a seat at either chair. Good morning, how are you?
Morning, everyone.
How are you?
How are you?
Good, and yourself?
Good, thank you.
Good. Looks like it's picking up good, but if you want to just make sure to speak into the mic, that'd
Sure.
be great. And so we have, these are 3 Walgreens properties?
Yes.
All right. Is there any particular order you want them read in?
It doesn't matter to me if you have a preference, or I could pick one.
I'll go in the order of what's on the sheet then,
Great.
which I believe is James Street first, then Velasco Road, then Seneca Turnpike.
That's the order I have them in, so that works out.
Okay, very good. So what I'll do is I'll swear both you and Matt in, and then I'll read the first one in, and then I'll turn it over to you, and we'll go to the city, just informal conversation.
Okay, great.
Okay, so if you could raise your right hand. Matt as well, okay. State your name for the record.
Nicole Forcelli.
Matt OJ.
You both affirm to tell the truth and give accurate information to the best of your ability.
I do.
I do.
Okay, great, thank you very much. And so, let me just make a note here. So we have 2329 James Street. We have a current tentative assessed value of $1,950,000 with a land value of $1,150,000. Yep, and that's correct. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $1,017,391, which would be an assessed value of $585. $585,000. So that all checks out. So let me turn it over to you, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, I have a little bit different of a number than what you said. I don't know if you were looking at my grievance.
Which I was.
Yeah, so we always put a very low value on the grievance. We kind of have to, as attorneys, to protect ourselves in the event that it's discovered that there's some sort of environmental contamination or something like that, where, you know, you're limited to what you put on the grievance. We're not aware of any environmental contamination now, but we have to put a very low value on that.
Meaning lower than this?
No, so what I put on the grievance is actually lower than what my client probably feels the property is actually worth. So I don't know if you guys got a chance to look at what I sent, but I sent a whole bunch of comps of other Walgreens and Rite Aids that sold in the area, and when you applied those sales to the subject, I came up with a fair market value of about 2.1 million, which I guess when applied to...
Okay, because the city equates to $3,391,304 for this particular one. Full market value
Yes,
off
exactly,
of the assessed value. Okay.
exactly. And so I came up with a value based on those comparable sales of roughly 2.1 million, which, if you work backwards with the equalization rate, comes to about 1.3 assessed value.
Okay.
Sorry, that was...
Okay, no, I understand your position as far as coming in low. We're aware of that. And I appreciate you coming forth with those numbers, because most people don't. You know, they'll just go off of this and leave it at that.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping to work something out, so we'll
Right.
see.
Right, okay, all right. We did not have a chance to go through the information prior, but we
Okay.
will.
No problem.
I wish you had brought more so we could go through, but
Oh, I should have brought a lot of copies.
Yes.
Sorry,
no, I'm just kidding. Oh. I wanted a
I
higher
know, it's a
stack
big
here.
package. It's a big package. Well, I wanted to be thorough.
Yes, no, that was fine. So is there anything else you want to add? I assume you've submitted the comp information here also?
Yes, so I submitted all the comparables. I submitted verified INEs. I submitted the lease. I think everything's in the package, but if you guys have any questions or want to discuss anything.
Okay, but those numbers of the 1.3, 2.1 are in here?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. They're actually, it's like there's a big chart,
Okay,
and at the
good.
bottom it has, like, when you apply the sales prices to the subject's square footage.
You did a lot of work. So that's apparent. Matt, any thoughts?
We really do appreciate the thoroughness. Gives me something to respond to this morning. Although, yeah, you know, our comps probably are a little bit different. We try to hew to city comps, even though some of those are a little more dated rather than going elsewhere in the region. The lease is in effect. It's a long-term lease. Appreciate the ability to review that. Would like to go through the P&Ls a little more thoroughly, but quick review, capitalizing our understanding of sort of reconciled NOI between market comps and actuals seems to support our value, but happy to give it another look in the context of a more thorough review of what you've submitted.
Okay. If I could just add one thing that I think is relevant, and I'm not sure if I do a good job of explaining it in my package, is for most of these Walgreens leases, all of the ones here today, they were signed about 20 years ago. And our position would be that that's not really the market right now. The most recent lease that we have is actually on one of the other Walgreens properties that was just signed in '23. And that lease, the tenant is paying $145,000 a year, as opposed to these higher rents that Walgreens is stuck with from when the market was much better 20 years ago. So we would just ask that you take that into consideration.
Yeah, certainly. We'd either, I mean, I think a more thorough review of the lease on my part would help understanding what outs they might have. 75-year lease without a lot of outs, seems to be something we'd risk rate pretty well.
Yeah,
But we'd give it a more careful look. Also, the data point of the sale of this property, obviously pre-pandemic, pre-market shift, but the 2011 sale, we have classified as a good arm's length sale. We're going to continue to assume that's the case unless it's suggested otherwise, but that's a pretty strong one. Strong
Yeah, I
data
think
point.
the thing with sales is I think outside of 3 years, they're not really valid anymore.
We'd rather have a more recent sale. Yeah.
The market's like so volatile, which is why we pulled a lot of sales from 24. And the 24 sales that we found in and around the Syracuse area were showing values of like 2 million, 1.8. And additionally, if I could just add, I don't know if any of you have seen on the news or anything, but Walgreens is doing very, very poorly. They've closed or in the process of closing about 1,200 stores. And they,
I can see that.
yeah, I actually added some articles at the end just to, if you wanted to take a
Yeah.
look. But actually, Moody's has downgraded them to basically junk bond status. They're doing very, very poorly. And I think as a result of that, these properties are very hard to sell now. And when they are selling, they're selling for much lower than what they did years ago. So, which is why, I've been representing Walgreens for years. I haven't filed on these properties in probably 8 or 9 years because pre-pandemic, I understood these properties, Walgreens was successful, these properties were selling for higher values, but we did decide to file this year because over the years, the EQ rate has dropped, the fair market value's gone up, and Walgreens, I feel the properties are worth less than they used to be. So that's my spiel.
Okay. So you're saying you haven't filed. I think I've seen these.
Rite Aid came in last year on 1405 East Genesee. To the best
That
of
might
my
have been
Maybe
Bob
that's what I'm
Jacobson.
mixing
And
with.
it wasn't Bob Jacobson. It was Sheila, whose last name I forget, from
Jalafu, maybe?
firm in Buffalo, solo practitioner, or maybe a small firm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we represent Walgreens. Years ago, when Walgreens was successful, they bought out Rite Aid, but they weren't able to buy all the stores because of antitrust laws. So there's still a bunch of Rite Aids that are not owned by Walgreens that I guess are being handled by a different attorney. But these 3 particular properties, I have never filed on, have not filed on in many years.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no recollection of them either. Cheat sheets for the board. Sorry, a little late there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll certainly review this a little more thoroughly than
Thank you. Thank you.
Didn't expect such a great volume of stuff to review for defense prep yesterday, but quick scan gave me the sense that I have more to read and another round of math to do.
And then the last question I have is, and we'll go through your information, but you had said comps in the area, and then Matt said region. So where were the comps that you
Sure.
studied?
So I basically pulled comps. I mean, obviously, in an ideal world, all my comps would be in the city of Syracuse,
Right.
but there's not that many Walgreens
Sure.
in the city of Syracuse. So I just did this county, Onondaga County, and then neighboring counties. So the comps that I found are in Auburn, Carthage, Messina, 2 in Greece, Gates, a couple in Rochester. I just kind
All
of
right.
went in a circle around Onondaga County.
Sure, because I understand that, you've got to start close and then go out based on availability of comps or lack thereof. So I get it, but I just wanted to clarify that.
Of course.
Okay. Anything else you want to add as far as this property?
No.
And I'm thinking maybe we'll do them individually, of course, but probably the same type of argument on all three. I
Yes.
would assume. Yeah. Yep, that's fine. We are in a little bit of a rush because there's a fair amount of people that, but it's all right, there's time. Okay, so we have 394 Velasco Road and Onondaga Road. And to read that in, another Walgreens, current tentative assessed value of $1,300,000 with a land value of $254,500. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $678,261, which would be an assessed value of $390,000. And I will just add in that the city's fair market value is $2,260,870 versus yours, and probably get into the same type of numbers. So yeah, go ahead.
So similar arguments as what I made on the previous Walgreens. We do feel that the current lease is not representative of, the lease that's in effect is not representative of the current market since it was signed in 2003. Walgreens is doing very poorly. They've closed 1,200 stores. As a result, these properties aren't worth what they once were. And a more recent lease is the lease that was signed on the nearby Walgreens on 401 Seneca Turnpike, which is roughly $145,000 a year. Additionally, I just want to add, we submitted a whole bunch of comps.
If I could interrupt just for 1 second. And again, we'll go through, but just from a note-taking, what was the total rent of the prior property, if you would? And then you said 145 on this new lease or what have you. So prior property total rent yearly, and then this one here also.
Sure. So the prior property, which is 2329 James Street,
Right.
the rent in the lease, which was signed in 2006, is works out to be around $32 a square foot, which I can get the exact number for you.
About 484, right? 484,000?
I just have the INEs right here. Yes, 484,000.
484,000 a year.
Yes.
Okay. And
And the rent on this lease, the 394 Velasco, is $454,000 a year, and that's a 2003 lease.
that's the current lease.
Current, yeah, that's the lease that's currently in effect.
And when do those leases expire roughly?
Like, they're usually 50 or 75-year leases. So this one was signed in 2003, so it probably expires 2078, with different option periods.
Mine,
so-
mine was admittedly a quick review with tired eyes, but I think this was a 20 with a few renewals.
Oh, let me check.
And it, I know the grievance stated 454,000 annually, but my read was that under the first renewal term, assuming that was executed, we'd be at 473,758. But again, I don't know if there could have been an amendment to that, which I know is increasingly something Walgreens is looking to do.
No, you're correct. The initial term was 20 years, which means they probably updated it in 2023 or re-signed it in 2023. And
If you'd be able to pass along any amendment or,
yeah, let me check if I put, if I had an amendment, I would put it in here.
yeah.
So doesn't look like I have an amendment. But what I can do is I can ask my client
Yeah,
and I
could you?
can email it to you guys.
Because we would, the 75 in Eastwood is one thing, but for a shorter term lease, we'd risk rate that a lot differently, given,
Of course.
To me, I mean, not getting too far into the inside baseball.
No, of course, I understand. That
the
makes
macro,
sense.
The macro forces really do mean something. For a 75-year lease, we'd probably take those with a grain of salt. But for a short-term lease, obviously, that cap rate would be awfully high for a property like this where the store could go dark anytime.
Yeah, let me find out about that, if I could email you.
Definitely.
Okay. Put a note to myself. And then just one last thing to add, because again, our grievance has very low value. But we did do a similar analysis with comparable sales, and came up with a fair market value of the entire building of around $2 million. However, you may have noticed with this property, 2/3 of the property is in the city and 1/3 of the property is in Getty's, which is probably why you guys have a much lower value. Is that correct?
It answered my question.
Okay.
Totally, yeah.
So we came up with the entire value of the building as 2 million, but since Syracuse is only assessing 2/3 of the property, we came up with a value of the portion of the building that's in the city of Syracuse of around 1.33 million, which equates to an assessed value of around 761,000.
Okay. And these are triple net leases or leases as such that Walgreens is paying the taxes, hence
Yes,
the reason
yes.
for the grievance?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Because it threw me a little bit with the rents, but then I had to figure out, okay, the Walgreens are paying the rents, and so the property owner's pretty happy, but
But Walgreens is not.
correct. So, I get it, and that's fine, and I just had to think through it a little bit, and yeah, a lot of money. Okay, all right. Anything else you want to add there?
No, I think we covered it.
Okay, and Matt?
Yeah, thanks for the, I'll do a little more work with respect to the jurisdictional split here. I know in the 7th Ward, we keep a really comprehensive list over in Carl's neighborhood of properties split between municipalities. I'm picking this up for another assessor today, so I guess there are probably some properties in the 11th Ward that are split too, and this is one of them because the the 9612 jumped out at me as a square footage number that couldn't quite be right for a building built in that era, especially when
Yeah.
you had a couple different numbers on here. So
Yes, yes.
I'll get in touch with the assessor and get us, see that we're not on the same page. Look forward to seeing any updated lease information from you and run another analysis and take it from there.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. So next property is 401 West Seneca Turnpike and Valley Drive. Another Walgreens, current tentative assessed value of $2,180,000 with a land value of $450,000. That would equate to a market value of $3,791,304. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $1,137,391, and that would be an assessed value of $654,000. So that all checks out. And what do you have for this property?
So this is the one I made reference to when I was discussing the other two properties because Walgreens vacated this property and they subleased it to Dollar General. And that was, I believe the lease was signed in 2023. And Dollar General is paying $145,000 a year. And so as far as rents, we feel that's a more accurate barometer of the market now, since those leases were signed 19 and 20 years ago, respectively, and this lease was just signed in the last 2 years.
So Dollar General's paying Walgreens, and Walgreens is on
Walgreens
their
is
lease.
stuck in their lease.
Right.
The store wasn't making any money. They had to shut it down. They're stuck in their lease. So to try to minimize their losses, they subleased to Dollar General. That was the best offer that they could get, was $145,000 a year.
And their current lease is same type of rent as the other property?
Yeah, much higher. So anyway, I guess our position is that these properties aren't worth what they once were. And just, I think, even pre-pandemic, with the advent of Amazon and online shopping, the need for these giant 14,000, 12,000 square foot stores is just not what it once was. People don't want to rent a store that large because lots of people shop online now. Most retailers making a move to a smaller footprint. We've seen like tons of retailers go out of business for that reason. So that is why we were thinking that the new lease is really the most accurate indicator of what these properties are worth. And just to address what you said about the grievance, as I mentioned on the other properties, we do have to put a very low value on the grievance just to protect ourselves. But I did a similar sales analysis based on sales of other Walgreens in the region, and I came up with, for this property, a fair market value of roughly 1.8 million, which equates to an assessed value of $1,050,000.
Okay,
And it's all in the package, so.
excellent. Matt?
Yeah, these are a little unusual. We lean heavily on an income capitalization approach, obviously. That said, with a 4-year-old data point, with this property conveying, obviously on the back of a strong lease to the initial tenant, the primary tenant, in December of 20, at $325, $326 a square foot, full market, we're assessed now at a little under $298 a square foot. I recognize that the world is different, but it's a little hard to ignore that data point, which is, I think, not yet stale. The tendency is what it is, but we'll continue to give this some thought and appreciate a more thorough review of what you've submitted.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a lot to consider, certainly. A lot of moving parts.
Yeah, I see a smaller snippet than this than you all do. But yeah, tenants with a sublease in place coming and grieving on a property that conveyed. That's some interesting competing concerns there. But we'll give it some careful thought.
Thank you.
And we will as well.
Yeah.
And, yeah, a lot to go through. We will certainly take all the information, everything that you've presented today, as well as, yeah.
The original lease on this one, or I should say, per the Second Amendment, this only runs through 2028, right? At that point, this landlord may well be stuck with a dramatically different cash flow situation than exists today.
Yes, and hopefully Walgreens will still be in business by then, which is why they're really, really struggling. As I mentioned, that Moody's downgraded them to basically junk bond status. The S&P also, they're closing 1,200 stores. They closed 3 distribution centers. So they're really trying, which is why I think these properties aren't worth what they once were. And they're really trying to minimize their losses here, particularly with this property because of the sublease that they're not making.
So the argument to be made is that with what now amounts to a short-term, mid-term triple net lease, Walgreens has stepped into the shoes of the property owner and is facing a really diminished cash flow situation with their subtenant. And with about 3 years left to go, I don't remember when that expires, in 2028, Walgreens is looking at a very short runway here, to a low, currently has a low value stake in this property, despite the fact that they're paying a lot to the landlord, to the property owner. But in the near term, is facing a situation in which they might not have any stake in this property at all.
Yeah, I could see
this
them
is-
walking
interesting,
on a lot
yeah.
of these. Unfortunately, that's, again, that has nothing to do with us, but I'm in the financial services business, so I'm thinking about a lot of things as you're
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah.
The main thing I'm thinking about is not buying their stock. Other than that, I think we're in good shape, but no, it's
I'm
so,
going to say
it's so
no comment
interesting.
about that.
Right. But it's so interesting how things evolve and so anyway. But as far as this situation is concerned, we will definitely dig in heavily and see what we can do to make it fair for everybody.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. And the city will send out 3 separate notices first week of April.
Great. Thank
All
you
right.
for your time, everybody.
Yes. Have a nice weekend.
You too.
Well, we've seen these many times before. I'm just not sure if people are coming in or not, so let me check. Michelle, are these people coming in? Oh, so I just have to read them in? And Matt will, okay, gotcha. Thanks again. Have a nice weekend.
Have a nice weekend, everybody.
You too.
I know.
Any particular order?
I guess
808.
the order in which they're calendared is okay.
Okay,
Yeah, 808,
okay, we can do that. Okay, this will be number 4 and number 5 for our purposes. So we have 808 South Crouse Avenue. We have seen these before. So we have let's see here. We have a current tentative assessed value of $5,700,000. And let's see what we have for a land value. We have a land value of $918,750. $918,750. The petitioner believes the fair market value is $912,000. And therefore, the equatable assessed value, $570,000. These numbers are a little different. That's the only reason why it's taken me a little time to match up. Is this the office building?
This is the parking garage.
Parking garage.
On the South Crouse side.
Okay. So that's the parking garage, and let me read the other one in. I think these were the subject of litigation.
They are the subject of litigation. These actually predate my time here. I think 2019 was the first year filed.
Okay. All right, let me just read this in. 739 Irving Ave, then is the office building. We have a current tentative assessed value of $13,570,000 with a land value of $511,875. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $2,171,200, and that would be an equatable assessed value of $1,357,000. I think these, I just want to housekeeping change these numbers. I think these initial numbers maybe were on that 62.5. And the other one, $2,171,200. Just to get them totally matched up. One more second here. Okay, I am correct, or these are correct, and so petitioner is not here, and we'll turn it over to the city for some commentary.
Yeah, I think Article 7 petitions have been filed for 5, maybe 6 years on these two properties. Well, without going into the backstory, cities reached an agreement in principle with the petitioner to settle both, hoping to get on the next Common Council agenda to get their authorization to settle. But if not, the cycle after that, either way, petitioner has grieved to just hold their place in line should this fall through, but we hope and expect that it won't. I think we've negotiated a pretty good deal for the city that better reflects the appropriate value for both properties in light of the equalization rate situation. So we've got no objection to their council not being here today, and hope to have this buttoned up very soon.
Okay, that sounds good.
Hope so. Hope so.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, but they were corrected. They were corrected here. Yes. Yes. Yeah, but these were a little different because on the grievance it said 62.5, so I'm thinking that's where they got those two numbers. So, yep. So that was if you want to, that was the only adjustment I've had to make on this sheet. Everything else, the first three all matched. The first three all matched up with her paperwork and what's on here, and then here it was just these two figures. But they do equate to what's on there as far as assessed value. Well, I think based on, there'll still be time. I'd like to hopefully wrap this up by noon. So what I'm getting at is I'd hate to read them in and then have that person show up. Have you heard from anybody or no? Okay. So my thought is maybe, I mean, it's just my suggestion. If we've got the last person, providing we stay fairly on time, which looks like we will. There's only 4 left, if I'm looking at it correctly. Is that right? Okay, so from 10:30 to just after 11, we should be wrapped up, and then my suggestion is to read them in at that time.
Are the Summit Housing and LIH properties not?
What she's saying.
Right.
And so is there still a chance that they could show up, I guess is what I'm getting at?
I'm a day late and $1 short on that whole portfolio.
Okay.
24 hours ago, I didn't know that they were coming in.
Oh, okay.
But I'm prepared. I'm prepared to defend our assessments.
Okay. Well,
Definitely down for a break.
yeah, that's fine. All right. Because it is, how about Genesee Street, Elmira stop? Okay. So I would say, yeah, from the 9 o'clock through the 9:40 figure there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think we could read those in after the rest, and then would it be a blanket statement basically on 2 different batches? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, if that's appropriate.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it. Just in case, who knows, I hate to read them all in, they got to do it again.
Be nice text.
And that's what? Which one is that? The first one?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All those apartment buildings, I suspect they're represented by somebody out of the area. I know ownership is in Seattle.
At the Summit Housing? Okay.
So unless they have local counsel.
Okay.
That's right, okay.
Oh, so it might be their own representation? No problem. I was doing my calendar last night, but I don't listen when Michelle's talking to me. Did you say Monday is a hard stop at 11?
Not a vote.
Well, both days. I did say Wednesday, and then Michelle. I think you said hard stop. I think you said stop at 11. Got to be out of here by 11:30. It's full.
Feels full to me.
Just Wednesday. Okay. When you said Monday, I figured it was both. All right, so Monday, we're easy peasy through. Tuesday.
trace or more of snow, 48 the last 51 days.
Oh, no kidding.
February 10th, 21st, and 22nd, the only days it hasn't snowed in the last 50 years. January 10th, 21st, and 22nd. It's been snowing every day for 4 weeks.
That's why.
Well, I guess that's why we're probably sick of it, right?
That's why we groan when we look out the window. Not again.
Yeah, well, okay then. I just remember the last 4, 5, 6, 7 have been pretty reasonably mild.
One of the Weather Channel or one of the national morning shows. I forget what I watched. But they said March, April, and May were projecting the most heat. Got that going for us.
So the,
95 though in April.
when I was watching
Who
the,
wants that?
when I was watching the projection for this year, I thought one of the weather slightly above average or slightly above I guess I took it as slightly above what we've had the last 3, 4 years. And therefore not thinking maybe I looked at it.
You know, and then people have been commenting with additional photos of their own. Some of it, like, there was a video of a kid sledding off of his roof. Because the snow was piled so high, he just went straight down.
Wow.
One guy posted a picture of his front porch, an open, covered front porch. You know, like a wraparound porch on his house. And he's looking sideways, so the house is here, the porch is here, and there's a wall of snow. So he's like walking down a tunnel between his house and. Yeah.
So it doesn't just feel that way.
Yeah,
You can
right.
quantify it.
Really is that way.
All right.
Kate Thornton.
Yeah.
And Carl, he must have been
How
out.
about that?
Yeah.
48 out of 51 days.
It was Kate Thornton just posted it on Facebook, so I think that's a
Back
reminder.
that up. That's like since the second week of January, which is what it feels like. We had that little melt after Christmas, and then since then it's steady snow and
Well,
below
3
freezing
days.
almost every day, but that one like 44-degree day.
3 days in January, it didn't snow. That's it.
Yeah.
So that leads to a big snowpack. Okay.
Yeah.
I got as far south as Song Mountain, but we'll find out this afternoon. I hope it. She has not skied lately, but Theodore, missed the last 2 winters. He hadn't skied since he was 4. We went out probably second week, third week of January. Like riding a bike. It was cool. I mean, first few runs, but he picked up really fast. He's 7 now. So 7. So like developmentally, I thought he'd missed just way too big a chunk there, and it would be tough. But it's been great.
That's pretty bad.
Just like it. Just like it. Now it's been, I think, almost 2 weeks since we've gotten down there, but promise I'd block out one day. Yeah.
Pretty good. That's a great,
Yeah.
that's a great time.
Yeah, it is. Warm up what, tomorrow?
Actually,
Several.
yeah,
Actually.
like 4 days in
Yeah.
a row of 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
Like
There's gonna,
Saturday, Sunday, Monday,
one of,
Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
one of the days is mid-40s at least. So
And breezy, right? Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that knocks down the snowpack.
Yeah, it won't get rid of it all, but it'll lessen it.
Gotta try
It
it.
does get cold.
It's
It
just gonna turn to ice.
gets
Wow,
cold
that's-
again, but then it's March, so at some point ski season's over.
I have a friend of mine, a guy I work with, who's a huge skier. Skis all over the world, travels all over the world. Needed a knee replacement. Of course, he got too bad. He's had one done and he needed the other one done.
We did it this year.
He decided to do it.
So it's his fault.
Nobody laughing.
I had to blame him then.
Right, oh my God.
Oh, that would be
He's
crushing.
coming into work more often. He's like, I can't believe this. Going down brushing off his car like.
Yeah, feels all the worst of it, going through PT, and he doesn't get the bit of fun that he missed the last couple winters.
Yeah.
Purchase of ice.
It's like a lamb.
Well, and that's what I get worried about.
That's right, yeah.
Even before
That was fun times.
that was the
bottom
hard stuff.
especially is
And that's
ridiculous.
before it was, once it became an ice rink.
I understand the Syracuse Mets have not a lot of days to get that snowpack off the field.
Yep, you're right.
They are on the road, I want to say, on the 28th, and they're back home. Like opening day at home is the first or the second. Very well. I don't understand why minor league baseball lets this happen every year.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Why can't they be in Memphis and Jacksonville? And
Yeah.
It's so bizarre. There should be no Northern baseball. Oh, sure.
Yankees have the budget to keep the field clean.
Yeah.
Mets might not.
That's starting Miami, but they're back League game against Toronto Thursday the 4th. Pretty dormant crowd.
The Mets open up on the Syracuse, open up on the 28th of March. At Worcester.
Oh, they're in Worcester. They're
Not
not
like
even
they're
someplace
front.
right.
Jeez.
That's
Worcester.
Worcester, where the Paw Sox moves to. Polar Park. Yep. Which I hear is a pretty good minor league baseball experience, but I have not been through. But Worcester's a cool town.
Reminds me a lot of Syracuse.
It is very Syracuse. Yep. Yep. Got Holy Cross up there on the hill.
Yeah.
Nice rust belt downtown.
They open up at 2:05 Tuesday, April.
Oh. Yeah, I bumped into John at kid pickup the other day. Yeah. I mean, for the next couple of weeks, I think he doesn't have to worry too much. But if Mother Nature doesn't help out, he's really going to have his hands full.
That happened 5 or 6 years ago, yeah, where it was very touch and go, and they had to go out shoveling. And then I had offered to go over and help with our, I removed when it was nothing on it.
I've helped move that tar. That thing is unwieldy.
Yeah.
Pandemic spring, we had heavy snow in April, and we had one crazy snow event in mid-May. I remember we had daffodils up, and we just gotten our mulch delivery. Got like 4 inches of snow.
Like the first year of the pandemic?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. When everybody was.
Yeah, when everybody was.
Weather here. Or you could get delayed by snow. Damage and just general temperature fluctuations damage insulation out there right now.
Thursday is good to meet around the same time, 11 to 2.
what's going on? Is this bad news? I don't want to join. I'll stay right here.
That's the listen.
Yeah.
of lunch. Does Ann still owe her gift? Does Ann still go, where does she go?
Jose's Stories, formerly Today's Special. Many of us. Yeah, okay. So Jose, yeah, in the State Tower. Jose operates it. Used to be Today's Special, now it's called Stories.
Okay, and that's in the State Tower down, I guess you go in there though, maybe that was what Stories used to do or something.
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Because I wanted to go in there.
I pay and they give me
I
food.
wanted to get
It's
her a
been
gift
great.
certificate for her 40 years,
Oh yeah.
and then I did not come to the gathering.
Yeah.
So I never did it, but I want to get it off.
Oh yeah.
So she still goes to that
Oh, yeah.
place, but it's called different, so I can stop in there, maybe they do give certificates as opposed to.
Yeah, I think so.
What's the name?
Stories.
It was
Oh,
Stories.
Yeah, still is Stories.
Oh, it still
Oh,
is
I thought you
Stories,
said
but
it
it's
It u-
under
it
different
used to-
management.
It used to be Today's Special.
Right,
Yeah.
right, that's what I remember.
Yeah, it's different management, but same principle. He worked for the people and now he owns that.
Oh, okay.
They did, I think. Whoever owned it. The family.
Yeah, yeah, one tradition.
But it's that place in the first floor of the state office building.
The restaurant, yes, yeah. Yeah, not the golf course.
But that's the first floor of the state office.
Yeah, right on the Water Street side.
And it's called Stories.
Stories.
You see the galleries going up for auction? Oh, I think. Or the, leases for both buildings. I mean, it's pretty raw. Sir, if you want to come on up and have a seat. Right up here is good. Yeah. Sure. How are you?
Good, sir.
Good, good. You're just, I'm going to swear you in, but you're here for 565 East Seneca Turnpike?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sounds good. Whenever you're ready, I'll swear you in, but take your time.
I'm ready, sir.
Ready? Okay. If you could raise your right hand, state your name for the record.
Dineshwari.
Excuse me. Do you affirm to tell the truth and give accurate information to the best of your ability?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me just read some information in, and then I'll turn it over to you. This is 565 East Seneca Turnpike,
Yes, sir.
and this is Brighton Avenue Gas Incorporated.
Yes, sir.
The current, is this a vacant lot?
This is
Well, let me read in some numbers.
yes, sir.
We have a current tentative assessed value of $36,000
Yes,
with a land value of the same amount. $36,000. Land value of $36,000. Then we have, okay, it says see attached, because I don't have any information. So let's see what attached means. There is a, okay. Okay. Let let me just take a peek here. Okay, so you're claiming that the property has no market value and cannot be used for any commercial use other than the current two users. All right, so let me, I glanced over your letter. I'll read it closer when we discuss it. So what's the situation?
It's just like easement to both properties. That's the thing. Whatever the parcel I have it, it's just the easement to the property, and it no has any value. I cannot build anything. I cannot sell to anybody. So it was assessed for. I think it was like 40. Let me see here.
5,000.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it was assessed for last year 4,600, and I say, and now,
Okay, all right. Okay.
now it's almost jumped like 600% on me, 36,000. The main thing is that it's just the easement. I don't think so. I can build anything over there. I cannot sell to nobody. That's what I am.
All right,
here.
all right, so let me ask you a couple questions.
This might help you visualize what we're talking about. So it's the property that runs parallel to Seneca Turnpike.
Okay. So it's this swath of land right here?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, all right. And what is it, a utility easement, or what's the easement?
I think it's easement for the
The Taco Bell and the gas station.
the entrance. The people can go in
It's-
to the property.
Those businesses have an easement on this lot to use the driveway.
To be able to
'Cause it's
drive
to access-
through it to
right.
gain access?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so I don't think that's detrimental, or am I missing something?
No, I mean,
So I thought he was talking about an easement in a negative way.
I think what he's saying is that the property isn't, he can't build on it. There's nothing that you can do with it. From our perspective, the property is value because it's, the access point for two different businesses up there. So that,
Yeah, okay.
so it's just a question of his opinion and value is obviously lower than ours.
Okay. Okay. All right. And this was an increase in assessment. This was something that,
We've reviewed the vacant land in that neighborhood this year.
okay. All right. So I get that. He owns this property. There's an easement for him as well as, what does he own?
He owns the gas
You
station.
own the gas station, okay, which is on the corner here, and then this is Taco Bell over here. Okay, all right, I get it, I'm sorry, I just needed to zero in. So it was assessed for $4,600 back in 2024, and then the new assessment, $36,000, and that was probably a shock to your system. However, has this ever been reassessed, or pretty much 4,600 forever?
That particular parcel, was it two separate parcels when it was the car wash?
Yes, sir.
So when you sold that,
Yeah.
they created they created that, we
I
created,
think.
or is that
when
parcel always existed?
I think when I bought it, it was bought it as like three parcel.
It was
three
when you bought it?
parcel.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So it was,
Yeah. At that time, I think city give to Sunoco. That's what I'm assuming. This parcel just for to have the entrance or something. That's how city
Yeah.
gave it to Sunoco at that time. Then then I bought the parcel from Sunoco, the whole thing.
Okay. Would there be an interest in combining this with that, or?
we've talked about that. I recommended that to him when we when we spoke about it, as far as combining, splitting the line, giving Taco Bell that part, and then combining it, because he would save on the special district charges, he would save on that end of it. So but yeah, we've talked about that.
Okay. So is there any interest in maybe selling, half of it to Taco Bell and then combining your parcel with the gas station?
I didn't talk to anybody yet, sir. I didn't talk to anybody about, I know Joe talked to me about that, but I didn't talk, and I don't want to come up with some expense if I subdivide, maybe cost me some money. And I don't know how the Taco Bell will react on that. This is like a corporate,
Okay, because that might help the situation. Because obviously this piece is very valuable. There is other access to your place on the other side, right?
I believe they both have access off of Bright.
Yep. Which is what, yeah. Okay. Okay. So anything else you want to add?
No, the main thing is that, because it's went like 600-700% up, because I'm paying like less money. I thought it's just the easement, it's just costing me. And now it just went up another 36, maybe like $31,000 more, like 6% or 600% increase on this. I just see what you guys can do to lower it,
Okay.
It's like a big increase for me.
At one time.
Yeah, it's a one big increase for me, where I'm not earning anything.
You're not what?
Where I'm not having any, it's like a big increase for me, like a 600%.
Well, 600%, but what are we talking numbers-wise?
Every $10,000 of assessed value, about $400. So, 40, 12.
So a couple thousand?
Yeah. Give or take, without looking at the special districts, it would be hard to. But yeah. About the tax rate, the ad valorem tax are about $40 per $1,000 of assessed value.
How long have you owned the property? When did you buy it from Sunoco?
2000, I believe it's 17.
2017?
Yes.
Okay. So it sounds like it's been at 4,600 for quite some time.
Yeah, it would have been probably 2017.
Yeah,
because when we walked through the car
yeah,
wash.
I was paying since since I bought it, I was paying the same tax.
It's probably been at least 5 years, 6 years since I've walked,
5
because
years.
there used to be a car wash where the Taco Bell is,
yeah.
and we walked through it back then.
Ah, okay. Did you own the Taco Bell property also?
No,
No.
I sold it to Taco Bell. No, once I own it, but that Taco Bell property.
When he
sold it.
bought it in 2017, the land Taco Bell is on was part of the sale.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I'm getting at.
yeah.
So then you
I sold it
portioned
to-
off and
I
sold
sold
to
it to
Taco Bell.
Yes.
Okay. Do we know what that sale price was?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay, I'd be curious.
What did you sell it to Taco Bell for?
The bag, I think maybe like, I'm not be 100%, I think it will be probably close to 440. The bag, 440,000.
440,000?
Yeah.
You sold the land to Taco Bell?
Yes, sir.
And that was when?
Maybe like 2-3 years back. 2020.
Yeah, it wasn't that long. It wasn't that long. Within past 5 years.
Yeah, within less than.
Within less than 5 years, you sold
3
that piece
Yeah.
for 440,000.
Yeah, that's what I'm like.
Did they pay to demo the other building, or did you do that?
No, they did it.
They did it, so that was just a net deal. Okay. I think, anything else you want to add?
No, sir.
Okay. Anything you want to add? Okay. Okay, so we will take all the information into consideration, then we'll send you, the city will send you a notice first week of April.
Sure, sir.
I know it's a large increase in 1 year, however, in the overall scheme of things, you know, this piece is very valuable to access to your business, so we have to kind of look at it that way too. But, okay.
Just
Okay.
point is that it's a big increase, you know.
Yes, it was a
Like,
big
yeah.
increase at one time, that is true. Okay,
And
all
thank you,
right.
sir.
Well, thank you for
Thank
coming
you
in,
very much.
appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, thank you.
That's
Seems
what,
even longer.
that's what Kate Thornton said.
Yeah, well, these others, yeah, we know about the ones up above here, but, well, we're assuming the ones up above are not coming. But the last two, although the last, oh, well, yeah, 719 East Genesee, the 1030 didn't show. What was that, 440,000 to Taco Bell? No, I hear you 1,000%, and, but, I don't have the map in front of me. No, he can't, but, you know, it's the cost of doing business in his lot, is the way I look at it. Yes, in 1 year, that's the only issue that comes up.
The city is saying he could sell it for $62,000.
Well, I don't know that the city's saying that he could sell it for 62. I think they're saying that it adds X percent of value to his business by being able to access it off of whatever street that is, Seneca Turnpike or what have you. Some things aren't, you know, you can't always use the sales comparison approach on everything. Right? That's my opinion. There's different ways of valuing things, as you know, and this certainly wouldn't be on a sale thing. Right. It's only you know, worth it to the landowner that, you know, he owns. You know, the other thing is that if we really want to get into the numbers, I bet you if we saw what he paid for his gas station and acquiring the car wash and then selling it for $440,000. See you later, you knock down the car wash. The Taco Bell, I don't think you guys heard. However, I understand what you're saying, but me personally, I wouldn't use the sales comparison approach. That's why I suggest buying would be a little less expensive. So, you know, sometimes the property
Would it
owners got to.
increase the value of his, if he combined it with his gas station, would it increase the value of his gas station?
Yeah, I think so. Because without it, there's no access on that road into.
Right, so nobody would buy it without buying that.
Right. But I believe though that, yeah, I think it adds value if and when he tries to sell the gas station, because he can point out that you've
had access on both thoroughfares. So, I definitely think there's some value there. I think, and I don't think he doesn't think that either. I think he's just concerned about the large increase.
Yeah, that seemed to be.
So that, we'll talk about it, and I don't see, why we couldn't do something where, the increase is over 2 or 3. Oh, no, I give it a shot. All right, so, what we'll do probably is, wait till 11 or just after. If nobody else shows, we'll probably end up reading all these in, get some commentary. Definitely be out of here by here before now. Michelle was gonna put in for next Thursday, 11 to 2, and next Friday, 11 to 3. And I just, sure it's got a meeting, Michael's working on business card.
Your hearing's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, so we have hearings Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, up to the 20th. So I think it's gonna be fun. I think we'll be out of here. Monday seems like, 50, up against. Tuesday, Des Moines, so probably not do it. Wednesday, gotta be out of here.
Went down at that wood.
Yeah.
My buddy Bruce was on that.
Is he?
No.
You want to come on up? The city did it, so we don't know why. We have an idea why. How are you?
How you doing?
Good, how about you?
Pretty good. And yourself?
Good, thank you. So I'm going to swear you in a second, but just wanted to confirm 2423 Midland Ave?
Yes.
Okay. And,
This is an exemption issue, not an assessment.
okay, exemption issue, okay, very good. So if you could raise your right hand, and I'll do the same thing, you and, I forgot to swear in Joe, I think. Should I have him back up after? That's probably,
See, I'm not sure, because he has been sworn in before.
oh, that's right, too. That's right, and somebody said that was okay then. Is that your phone?
Yeah, this is Maria Rice on the phone.
This is who?
Maria Rice?
Owner?
Oh, this is the owner on the phone?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Can you just pull it away from there for a
No
minute?
problem.
Okay. So what do you, oh, Tom mentioned it.
Do they have to be sworn in every time?
I think let's play it safe. Yeah, have him
Yeah.
come up. All right. Sorry about that. So if you could raise your right hand and state your name for the record.
Nina Maria Rice.
Okay, and this is your mother on the phone?
Yes,
And
this
she's
is-
going to speak as well?
Yeah, this is her issue, not mine.
Oh, this is her issue. Okay.
Yeah, she's the owner.
Okay. Can you?
Mom, you're gonna have to pull over and park the car so they can actually see you.
Well, we don't
Not see,
necessarily
but
have to
listen.
see her, but
Oh, okay.
I wanted her to attest that she's going to tell the truth and all that good
Oh,
stuff.
okay. Well, then I'll put it up to the thing.
Okay.
Mom, can you hear him? Oh, there she goes.
Okay, how are you? How are you? Can you state your name for the record?
Maria Rice.
Ann?
Ann Gallagher?
Nina Rice.
Okay. Ma'am, do you affirm to tell the truth and give accurate information to the best of your ability?
Yes.
You do?
Yes, I guess.
Okay.
I have nothing
Okay.
to say.
All right, very good. Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Okay, all right, yeah, if you can sit tight there. This is an exemption issue. It's 2423 Midland Avenue. So I'm not going to worry about reading in any assessment numbers. Is this a situation where this is her principal residence?
Yes, but it was denied because of residency.
Okay. So ma'am, where do you live?
Right now, the house is not livable because the furnace is broken and the house was vandalized. A thief broke in and stole all the copper pipes, the water lines. I was in the process of moving back, but because of the condition of the house, I wasn't able to move there. So I was staying with my oldest daughter temporarily
Okay.
until I decided to do what could be done with this house.
Okay. And so how long you been living with your oldest daughter?
For 14 months.
14 months, and you're still in the process of taking care of the property?
Yes. It's
Okay.
under repair right now.
What's happening right now with the property?
Trying to get some funds to get the repair work done. The furnace. I checked with a couple programs to see if they would be able to assist me financially to get the work done. The vandalism, I checked with the insurance company because there's some issues with they broke the door, the front door, so we can't get access inside for the insurance company to evaluate the damages.
Okay. All right. Well, this doesn't take 14 months to address.
No, it's been, I don't, well, for one thing, the furnace broke in January of 2024.
Okay.
The
And-
vandalism occurred November of 2024.
So you're telling me the furnace is still broke?
Yes, the furnace is broke.
Okay, well, that's usually like the first thing that you take care of with respect to the cold weather up here.
Right.
Okay.
But if there's no funds available to do that, there's nothing I can do right now.
Well, I understand that, and I'm not berating you. However, you're clearly not living there, right?
I'm clearly not living there,
Okay.
but I own the property. I'm still paying mortgage on it as well as taxes.
Okay. Are the taxes up to date?
Yes, the taxes are up to date.
Taxes are up to date? Okay. And
And I'm a senior citizen. I'll be 70 in April, and I need the senior citizen tax exemption.
yes, but the senior citizen tax exemption is for somebody that lives in the property. Is that correct?
Correct, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
According to codes, which I checked with, back in December or January of '24, when the furnace went, the property was declared unfit. It was due to the complaint from a tenant. A tenant was living there in January of '24 per codes. That's why the codes records say that they were heating the house by the stove. So as of January of '24, it's been deemed unfit for occupancy. I understand, but she's been in Georgia she just said for 14 months.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I understand you're a senior citizen, but
Yeah, you got to take care of the issue.
Right.
Ma'am, we don't make decisions, immediately, but I'm telling you, you got to come back up here and take care of this situation.
Well, when the weather gets better, I will try to come back and take care of the situation. But
All right.
right now, I have a knee injury that will not allow me to do anything but rest, put ice on my knee. I
All right.
have to get a compression cuff and elevating my knee for the meniscus
Okay.
tear to heal. And I probably tore it trying to clean that house up. It left in such a mess.
Okay. Well, again, I don't normally do this, but I'm going to speak for myself that I'm not going to grant the exemption. You've got to come up here or get somebody to take care of the situation. 14 months is way too much time to have nothing transpire. Again, I am speaking for myself only. I'm not speaking for the board. We will still take all the information that you have presented as well as the city. And then the city will send you a notice first week of April. But I'm telling you that, the situation is not going to disappear, and you're going to have to really put it as a priority. Sell the house, do what you got to do, but you're not living there, and that's that.
Well, it's not. I'm still paying bills on that house, even if I'm not living in there.
Okay. Well, the requirement of the senior exemption is that you have to reside there.
It doesn't say that you have to reside there. You're a senior citizen, and if you are denying my request, then I would like to file an appeal on your decision, because I own the house, I pay mortgage on the house, I have utility bills on the house, and the house is unoccupable at this time because your board person already said that the house was listed as unfit at this particular time.
Yes, that is correct.
But the
So
New York
if
State
there's no water in there and no furnace, no one can live in there.
New York State law does indicate that you have to be 65 or older, your income has to be under a certain amount, and it has to be your primary residence as of taxable.
It is my primary resident.
Well, not if you haven't been
Not
there
if
for
you're not
14
living
months.
Well, it's still my primary resident because I own it. and I would like to file an appeal on your decision
All
and
right.
request that you send me the information to file the appeal.
All right, well, here's what
Because
we'll
I
do.
still have expenses on there. I'll be 70 years old in April, so I meet the 65 age requirement.
Okay.
Nina, you got the camera up to the ceiling.
Okay, well, that sounds good. We will, the city will send you a notice first week of April, and then whatever you decide to do from there, you're certainly free to do.
Okay, also send me the information on filing an appeal in regards to your decision.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some,
That's on
a
the
number to
notice.
call. Okay. Yeah, that'll be on the number, that'll be on the notice as to, how to proceed if you decide that you disagree with the decision that we come up with.
Yeah, I disagree. So I want you to know that because I do have ownership of the house. I do pay mortgage payments on the house. I do pay taxes on the house. I do pay utilities on the house, water as well as electricity.
May I ask a question? Last
Sure.
January, when codes went in there, according to codes, it was a tenant that was living there. It was not you. Were you living in that property in January of 2024?
That property in January of 2024 was not occupable. There was no one living there January of 2024. On January the 30th of 2024, no one was living in that house because
What about
the furnace
January
broke.
1st?
I didn't have any money to get the furnace repaired, and I went to stay with my daughter.
So there was never a tenant in there?
I did have tenants there at one period of time.
What period of time was that?
That period of time is not relevant to this case. The ownership of that property.
It isn't-
and if
it is- I'm going to say this again.
Senior citizen,
It doesn't
is the
matter.
question.
If you had tenants living in that property, it absolutely makes a difference in this case because you were not living in there. It was due to a tenant's complaint that there was no heat. I know
There-
that it's in
There
the,
were squatters living there, but there was no tenants living there.
there was who?
Squatters.
Squatters.
All right.
People that, squatters, and I think you know what squatters are.
Yep, okay. All right, well, very good. I think we heard enough information, and the city will send you a notice first week of April. She went down to the bottom.
No, I'm getting another. Oh, hold on 1 second. Call her back. I think I might have hit a button.
It's okay. If she's still there, I'll talk to her, but...
Mom, you're calling on the wrong line. hon.
Hello?
Yeah, if you can get her back, I'll just close it up. and-
Okay, no problem. Hello? Hello?
Hello. Yeah, as of January 30th, no one was living there. Because that happened on the 24th. When
Okay.
John, are you still in the court?
Yes, Mom, they
Yep,
haven't
I-
closed out.
I,
They're still
I can
here.
hear you. I did hear what you said about January 30th and January 24th, but it sounds like somebody was in the property on January 1st. Sounds like you had a tenant there on January 1st.
Yes, there was, as I said, there were squatters in there.
Okay.
In the house. I had been trying to get them out.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Because I was in the process of moving back because I didn't have a place to stay.
Okay, I think we have, again, enough information to make a decision. And the city will send you a notice first week of April, and there'll be instructions in there if you want to proceed in a appeal process.
Yes, I do want to appeal because my income is less than $20,000, and I need this exemption for this property.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for,
And as a senior citizen, I am entitled to receive this tax exemption under my name and my age and ownership and expenses on this property.
yes, as long as you live in the property and
No,
it's your principal
if
residence.
the property, no, if the property is vacant because it's not occupable, I'm still ownership of the property.
Okay.
Paying those taxes.
All right. Well, again, thank you very much for your
And I
time.
need the tax exemption to do that.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you appearing today over the telephone.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Nina.
No problem. Bye-bye.
Have a blessed day.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And
Have a
then
nice one.
yes, the city will send are we sending the notice to the property?
Georgia, I believe.
You got a mailing address?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Is the PO box on the,
What do you want?
where's the mailing address on that, on her grievance? Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I
I'll
just
check
have
that.
what you gave me.
Yeah, I'll check it.
Although, Joe, I just got to swear you in. I forgot to do that. And I'm sorry. Yeah. State your name for the record.
Joseph Westman?
Do you affirm to tell the truth and give accurate information to the best of your ability?
I do.
Yeah, and I apologize. I didn't swear you in with that gentleman, and I just wanted to get that in on the record, and I know that you provided everything in good faith prior. Thank you. Senior citizen. So it's like ours. Yeah, whatever it is. That sounds about right. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay, that's the stack. All right, and good. Well, we got 45 minutes. We'll be good. Let me just make a note here. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. For the record, the grievance will be, the notice will be sent to the P.O. Box in Georgia for 2423 Midland Avenue. Okay, so we have a bunch of properties to read in on parties that, petitioners that did not make it to the grievance hearing today. The last of which was supposed to be here at 11 a.m. For 439 Bryan Ave. It is now 11:20. So we are going to go ahead and start from the top of the order and work our way through reading in all of the properties that were on the agenda but the petitioners did not show, and we'll act accordingly on each case. So the first one is, and this will be on, for our purposes, number 8. And this is 1819 West Genesee Street and Avery Ave. Now this is okay, currently a Walgreens is in this space. Now these people, this petitioner requested a non-hearing. In other words, they were not planning on coming based on what I'm reading here?
Based on what little I know. Oh, yeah. What I know is what you know, that.
Okay, all right, so let's read in the information, and then we'll take it from there. 1819 West Genesee Street and Avery Ave. Current tentative assessed value of $1,280,000 with a land value of $200,000. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $1 million with an equatable assessed value of $575,000. And again, this was a non-hearing request, so they were not supposed to come to the hearing this morning. For the record, we have application only in here, and there's no, let me just thumb through, there's no supporting documentation. There is nothing of value as far as this application is concerned. And when I say nothing of value, I mean no documentation supporting their claim of $1 million market value. Okay, Matt?
City has defense prep prepared. As you notice, it's kind of a thin grievance application based on what I had a chance to review. Without going so far as to say it's deficient for lack of certain categories filled out. The city would rest on its sales comps provided. Any income capitalization based on market comps, not least of which would be the Walgreens leases that were provided by the previous grievant, I think should more than back up our assessment. And though we wouldn't be too pushy about it, if the board wants to dismiss with prejudice for the no-show today, I'd respectfully encourage it to do so.
So just to expand on that a little bit, they requested a non-hearing, if you will. So they didn't not show intentionally, is what I'm...
I couldn't presume to know what communication's gone on between the clerk and the board and the grievant, but I know that historically the board likes grievance to appear. I know that Office of Corporation Counsel has been kind of adamant that the board get a chance to hear from grievance directly. So really, it's totally in your hands. I think that if a grievant is sophisticated enough to own a property leased to Walgreens and retain counsel, they're sophisticated enough to sit down in Syracuse, New York, and make a case.
Okay. Okay. And then just, Matt, if you would, just for the public, clarify dismissal with prejudice and without prejudice.
Without would preserve their right to come back. you all could reopen this. Also, the city could not respond to an Article 7 petition this spring in its answer, and cite that as one more reason why this is a deficient petition.
Okay, so without prejudice means that they could do another application next year and so,
Oh, next year, this would be treated de novo next year. They could certainly come back either way next year.
Okay.
But this year, you could reopen it. They could quickly scramble to get in here before you all close up shop next week.
okay, all right. So without prejudice says that they could try to come in and present on this calendar. With prejudice is such that that's it for this year, and then they could reapply next year.
Yeah, and also should in theory close the door on their filing a successful Article 7 petition in Supreme Court this year.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
just holding their spot in the litigation line with a kind of
So dismissal with
kind of empty
prejudice
grievance,
would cancel that out.
would give Corporation Counsel at least one more argument against their petition.
Okay, fair enough. All right, just wanted to clarify that, not only for myself, but for whoever may be viewing today. Okay, so now we've got, is Summit Housing and LAH Rehab the same organization, same, or no?
Yeah, they have the same principles.
So we can read all of these in together is what I'm getting at?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, so let's, let me just pull those. Okay, yep, I think I got to, yeah, okay, very good. Okay, so, if I'm understanding things correctly, I think what I'll do is I'll read 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll read the first 5 in for Summit Housing. Go to you for some commentary, and then I'll do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of LAH. Sound about right? Okay. Okay, so we have first property, 2929 South Salina Street and Corning Ave. We have a current tentative assessed value of $325,000 with a land value of $18,400. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $228,000, which would be an assessed value of $131,100. This is 18 low-income multifamily apartments. Okay, yeah. And so the city has submitted some comparable information for this property here. Next property, we have 301 Columbus Avenue. This is 27 low-income multifamily apartments. Current tentative assessed value of $738,200 with a land value of $33,900. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $342,000, and that's an equatable assessed value of $196,650. Are you submitting for each, or
Yes, this was 301 Columbus. Here is stack of 4 for the board. Thank you.
the city is submitting comps for 301 Columbus Ave? Okay, 303-19 Catherine Street. This is 21 low-income multifamily apartments. Current tentative assessed value $400,000 with a land value of $100,000. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $266,000 with an assessed value of $152,950. City has presented some comps. Then we have 245 West Martin Luther King Boulevard. And we have a current tentative assessed value of $460,000 with a land value of $20,200. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $266,000, which would be an assessed value of $152,950. I think the city has some comps. And the last one for Summit Housing Associates LLC is going to be number 13 for our purposes. 130-32 West Martin Luther King Boulevard. This is 18 low-income multifamily apartments. Current tentative assessed value $342,000 with a land value of $11,100. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $228,000, which would be a land value, which would be an assessed value of $131,100. And I believe the city has some comps as well. And I could be wrong, but I'm not sure if I identified what 245 West Martin Luther King Boulevard is. And that is 21 low-income multifamily apartments. I may have, but I just wanted to confirm that. So let me go over to Matt with some commentary on these 5 owned by Summit Housing Associates, LLC.
Yeah, each is a walk-up apartment. A little weird in my experience to characterize it as low-income housing, though I don't know that that's not true. People usually just write apartment building on the grievance. Each of these was, I just want to make sure I'm correct on that. Everything in both of these batches was purchased as part of a portfolio. I think each of these was purchased as part of the same portfolio in 2021. Broadly, the ones that I have direct eyes on were increased a little in one or both of the last 2 roll years as part of various reassessment projects in the 18th Ward. Catherine's in the 6th. Columbus, not for a long time. South Salina, I think, is in the 14th. Presumably, there are appraisals out there. Somebody, there must be a lender out there who was involved with this deal. None of the purchase prices was allocated out of the portfolio sale. I'd be curious to see what a lender's appraiser thought they were worth 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago. Each of these seems pretty well bracketed by the sales I've offered. totally in keeping with our understanding of the market in the city of Syracuse. Some maybe a little lower than others as we try to bring assessments up to par in the face of the last 6 years of appreciation, without putting too much burden on a taxpayer in any one year.
Okay. Very good, thank you. So now we'll go on to a batch that are owned by LIH Rehab V Associates LLC. Starting off with number 14, 2546-52 James Street and Woodbine Ave. This here is 16 low-income multifamily apartments. Current tentative assessed value, $627,000 with a land value of $43,000. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $202,667, which would be an assessed value of $116,534. And the city has some comps. Next property, 205 North Townsend Street. 26 low-income multifamily apartments. Current tentative assessed value $860,000 with a land value of $21,600. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $333, which would be an equatable assessed value of $189,366. And the city has some comps. Next up is 1200-06 South Ave. This is 15 low-income multifamily apartments. Current tentative assessed value is $255,000 with a land value of $32,100. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $190,000, and that would be an assessed value of $109,250. City submitting some comps. Two more under this portfolio, 723 West Onondaga Street. This is number 17 for our records. This is 28 low-income multifamily apartments. Petitioner, current tentative assessed value of $510,000 with a land value of $27,000. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $354,667 with an assessed value of $203,934. And city has some comps. And last one of this portfolio, 417 University Ave, 24 low-income multifamily apartments. Current tentative assessed value $1,120,000 with a land value of $212,000. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $304,000, and that would be an equatable assessed value of $174,800. And the city has some comps. Okay. Did you want to offer any commentary on these?
Broadly, with University Avenue, I think the value corresponds to other market data points in the neighborhood. With the remainder, frankly, our assessments are a bit low in the context of market data, certainly sales data. I think a more complete grievance application would certainly include appraisals prepared as a result of the recent sale. Again, portfolio sales, no sales price allocations made. But if any evidence existed to suggest that assessments are low, we'd be more than happy to see that.
Okay, that sounds very good. Okay, so we have two more properties on today's docket. Both, Michelle, on all these we've read in, we haven't, didn't hear from any of these people or anything. Okay. So this here is 719 East Genesee Street. This is number 19 on our records. This is a 3-story office building converted to first floor commercial and second and third floor residential units. Okay. So they have on here for the city, current tentative assessed value of $1,520,000. But then I have something different on the grievance, or I'm sorry, on the records here, $2,331,000. So which is correct?
Let's see if I can find that out quickly.
I don't think it's a numbers thing, though.
No, this is non-timely filing of the 485A exemption.
Okay. So again, on the grievance form, the current tentative assessed value is $1,520,000, but on our form, it's $2,331,000.
Yeah, that's correct. Tentative should be $2,331,000.
Okay. So let me make that note. Current tentative assessed value, $2,331,000 even. Once again, current tentative assessed value, $2,331,000, with a land value of $197,000. And then as far as, I'm going to thumb through here, but the petitioner did not put any estimate of valuation, and therefore no assessed value. But I will read here that it was purchased for $1,900,000 on September 6th of 2022. And it says that the buildings have been recently remodeled to a cost of $5,422,652. That was started September 13th of 2023 and completed 12/11/2024. So there is a lot of documentation which we will go through. Was there any 485J or whatever the...
I don't think any exemptions were in place or applied for. Sorry, we got a little obstruction there.
Yeah.
Non-timely filing. Grievance representative reached out sometime after taxable status date, asking about the possibility of a 485A exemption, for which on the merits, I think this qualifies. Ordinarily, we'd get involved at an earlier stage, walk through the property, provide some assurance to investors and lenders that this property qualifies. That didn't happen, but that's not, that doesn't foreclose on the possibility of our offering it. So I think, having gone through the grievance process, we certainly have no objection to this being honored.
Okay. Okay. So is there anything additionally that they have to do, like fill out an application, or there is an application in
Okay,
here?
Good. So long
Yeah.
as that was,
January 30th, it was received, and that's 485A. Okay, so I'm just flipping through. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of information, so I think it's something that we would consider. Okay, and if we need anything else from them, we know how to reach out. Let me just make a note here. I'm going to put 485A. And what is that? A is commercial, J is residential,
A
or
is
just
the
curious?
mixed, A is the mixed use. This is the,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
well, in this market, it's traditionally a commercial to residential conversion, but I think technically it's any conversion of a single use to a mixed use property.
Which commercial first floor, second and third floor, residential?
Generally here, yeah, that's how it shakes out.
Okay, all right, that sounds good. So we will go through all this information. We'll probably seek some feedback from yourself with respect to the 485A and how that works, and what is the time frame on that?
That is a 12-year partial exemption.
So it's based on the increase?
Exactly. Upfront, all of the increase over base is exempt, and it phases out on the back end. So in year 13, the property is fully taxable.
Okay. So it's just dividing the difference by 12, and then it's that?
No, in this case, I think the first 8, maybe the first 9 are wholly exempt for the increase over base, and then it phases in 20% each year on the tail.
Oh.
So, yeah, it's
that's
a
a hell of-
good generous
that's a hell of an
incentive on the,
exemption, yeah.
really does incent $5 million investments into underutilized properties. It's a good one.
Yeah. Sounds like perfect for this type of project. Okay. So we will figure everything out and then the city will send a notice first week of April. Okay, last property, number 20 on our list, 439 Bryant Avenue. This is a single-family dwelling. Current tentative assessed value of $94,000 with a land value of $9,700. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $135,000, and which would equate to an assessed value of $77,625. And there's just the application in here. It was purchased for $131,500 on October 2nd of 2023. It says that the property was recently appraised prior to purchase for $140,000. No improvements made since that time. It does say the appraisal will be provided, photos of the properties, condition, comparable sales will also be provided. However, I am thumbing through the application and nothing was provided other than the application. So, and Michelle, you haven't received anything? Okay, since was this the third reschedule, or? So had it set up, rescheduled, then rescheduled again. This time here, no show, no word from you, nor any information submitted based on what they said was going to be submitted. Okay. Just want to make a note. Oh, city?
Yeah, I appreciate the offer of the appraisal. Harping on that today. That said, per ORPS, per the state, we're in a rapidly appreciating market. 8%, 23 to 24, 13% this past year, and that's citywide. Tip Hill 400 block of Bryant, I know you guys know, is probably appreciating it higher than that rate. $140,000 full market at the time of purchase for a house that was sold in as is condition. Probably needed a little work. $140,000 in 23 times 1.08 times 1.13 gives me a full market this year of 178.56. We are equalized at 163.478 right now. I've got comps to back that up, and I think this is pretty good assessment work.
Okay. Did you have comps?
Oh boy, I didn't. This I delegated to somebody else the other night after the no-show. Nobody shared. But we got one copy for everybody to share.
Fine. Yep, no problem.
Jot down a note with
City submitted some comps, and which we'll review. And that'll take care of that. Anything anybody wants to add? Good, okay. And Matt, you're good?
I am good, thanks, guys.
Okay. Oh, I do want to say that we really appreciate everything that Michelle does. And I'm not, buttering you up, if you will. The information is always accurate, easy to read, and matches up with the petition. So definitely, and it's a lot of work. So definitely appreciate everything that you do to keep the process running on a yearly basis. If you're looking for a raise, though, you'll have to take that up with Matt. I won't be a part of that. Anyway, thanks very much for today, and we will reconvene on Monday of next week. And it's 11:52:53, and have a good weekend, everybody. Thank you. Meeting's adjourned.
Sugar Steve.
Hey. Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, this is good.
Does Ingy ski have?
Yeah.
She does.
Wait, who? Ingy?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Oh man.
No, I knew
I wouldn't
he did.
let her near a chairlift.
Is that your wife?
No, my wild 3.5-year-old daughter. She's about
You said your wife does it, so
Yeah.
does your wife ski? But
Oh
she doesn't
yeah,
have
she
it?
just hasn't for pre-pandemic at least. Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's untrustworthy.
And you're done with this one? Or is that one yours? Oh.
Did you get the?
Yes, I did. I was not
I
that
put them
worried.
in my thing here.
I was not that worried about them.
No, I know, but then I was in the bathroom, I'm like, oh, I forgot.
You?
And I am gonna just check my phone to see my son.
Just so you know, there's enough cost for
should be good for Thursday and Friday. Yeah, that's just the time frame. Yeah. She's gonna block out. Weekend?
You too, Joe?
Yeah. I'll be drinking some beer on Sunday. Probably won't be.
Will not be outside.
Probably won't be near home. I've never been, but I do have to.
I still think.
Oh, really? I could have literally walked out the door and it was, I was there.
Right.
And
Okay.
I don't think that all of the Patel people are happy with
yeah, it's,
Oh, yeah.
it. The Max and, they're one of those amateurs.
it is. It's a mess. You get a lot of, well, it's fun. I get it. Younger, especially for the younger generation. And a lot of the older people like to go and watch the street. There's, but there's certainly that whole aspect.
Right.
They're out saying, throw things on your lawn.
Yeah.